On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I've gotten back from Texas, and it was a fun show. So at the very end of this show, I've got a bunch of pictures, so I kind of put them into a collage with the final song I played at the event. So hopefully for those of you that didn't get to go or did go and watched it and want to watch it again and see all the crazy pictures, we got a bunch in there. There was a couple that there were format issues and they didn't work well in the software I was using. So there was, probably about 8 of them I had to pull out. All said, there's a bunch of pictures. We're going to get to that at the end. A lot news-wise, I feel like a lot of you guys probably know what's up, and it's tough when I miss some time. You kind of got to draw a line in the sand. Obviously, the big, beautiful bill was signed. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But on top of that, we've got movement in the intelligence world. It seems that we are condensing and shrinking. Obviously, Elon Musk throwing another wrench into the works, maybe. We'll talk a little bit about that. And I think outside of that, what else we got? I don't know. I feel like that's most of it. We got some other stuff, of course, but I'm drawing a blank on exactly what it is. So we'll just start to flow. Texas flood. Oh, gosh, yes. Oh, my God. I was out in Texas when this was happening. This is horrifically horrible. This video, if I can pull it up. Yeah, there we go. This is how it started. I mean, this is how quickly, it literally shows time lapse. This is within minutes. It went from to, oh, crap. Yeah, these people were smart enough to get the hell away, at least. That's fantastic. But yeah, that's how quickly these flash floods occur. I don't think people appreciate this. Is literally within minutes. 5 minutes. It went from a stream or a creek, as they might call it there in Tejas, to a friggin' full-blown ocean. The Red Sea crossing happened here. This is insane. So again, a lot of people lost their lives. 27 missing girls, 51 confirmed dead. There was a camp there. So sad. This camp, I think I got some images of this camp that just tore through. And there was a bunch of young girls, I think under 10 or something to that effect, that just got wiped away. I mean, this is a horrific event. Flash floods happen. They even talked about this particular river. This is one of the most flood-prone places, I think, on the planet, certainly in Texas. Well, not the planet, maybe, I don't know, but America, or for sure Texas. So this is just horrific. Horrific. A father trying to save people's lives, almost had his arm torn off. He ended up dying. Like, there's just some tragic stories. It's just an insane amount of water that came through. Trump signed a disaster declaration just to essentially help flow money. That's really all FEMA does, is move money. Most of the stuff that's happening in Texas, Care County specifically, is happening with the Texas National Guard, Texas police and sheriff and all those. I don't know if they have sheriff, they probably do. But all those types of equipment that comes from the state typically. But when it comes to money, the federal government usually kicks in, and that's kind of what this will help with as far as the disaster being declared. This was, and just kind of another weird thing, deadly firework display. I'm going to play this 3 minutes. This is a reasonably short show today anyway, but it kind of shows.
California on the map now.
It shows what happened. This individual owned fireworks. Now, some were making it sound like he was shooting them off. I don't think necessarily that was the case. I think he was probably one of the illegal sellers, had a bunch of them in like a garage, and they ignited. Is what I think happened. It caused multiple buildings to be burned. This is pretty messed up situation too. Not nearly as messed up as what happened in Texas, but this is pretty bad. The dude lost his life, and his wife is probably not going to make it. We'll see, but she's in critical condition. She got jacked pretty hard, and a lot of people lost their homes.
Let's go to California on the map now, where illegal fireworks are suspected in the explosion of a house in Los Angeles County. A man is dead, a woman badly injured there. CBS News Los Angeles reports from fires where a blast spread to other homes as California officials beg people to stop igniting illegal fireworks.
KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez is live in Pacoima with the fallout. And Rick, what does it look like out there?
Christine, Rachel, right now I can tell you this neighborhood still blocked off. There are multiple investigations going on at the same time, and we want to show you what the damage is out here. It is extensive, so we're going to give you two perspectives. From our ground shot here, this live image is of the house where they believed everything started, and at the same time on your screen you will also see video from SkyCal to see where exactly the fire spread to, because we're talking about multiple homes here where there are 4 properties that caught fire. 2 of them have ADUs, so that's a total of 6 occupancies that are damaged. 4 of those are red tagged after this massive fire. An intense display, several homes burned. LAFD is not saying exactly how much, only that a large amount of fireworks exploded late last night. This was around 9 o'clock. A major emergency declared by LAFD. 130 firefighters responded to Corcoran Street here in Pacoima. A frightening scene as they showed up here. Fireworks exploding, homes burning, people injured. One man ultimately discovered dead in the home. He's described as a man in his 30s, according to investigators. Witnesses say they also saw a woman with severe burns to her legs. LAFD says she is in critical condition this morning. A lot of debris and ash also from those fireworks rained down all across this neighborhood, and investigators right now are trying to figure out why so many fireworks were in that home, whether someone was illegally storing and or selling them.
It's very concerning. The communities, the neighborhoods are not zoned for handling hazardous materials or explosives, which is what fireworks are. And, that you need to have a certain distance and space to be able to safely handle. That's one aspect of it. The other one is that all these fireworks that are being sold, the majority of what is being sold illegally out of garages is powerful stuff.
And you can see just how powerful by the damage to this home here. We can tell you that we just learned...
Yeah, well, anyway, that's enough of the story. But it's pretty horrible, and it's sort of, looked vaguely familiar, kind of like a Portland peaceful protest, right? I mean, didn't it have that feel and look to it? There are a lot of illegal fireworks. It is odd that we had a giant warehouse, the real kind that the government is in control of or whatever, that they typically hold them there for a lot of the city's shows. That blew up. We talked about that before I went on my trip. So, again, strange that we've had a couple situations here in California where we have not been safe. U.S. lawmaker calls for a ban on deadly weather modification. Marjorie Taylor Greene trying to get this bill rolling. Likely it would pass through the House. I don't see this passing through the Senate unless we manage to get 60 in the Senate. I think we will. Believe it or not, when we finally get there, a lot of stuff's got to happen for this to be able to happen. But I do actually think we're going to break that threshold. I think there's a lot of fear, especially with what Musk's doing right now. So I just can't wait to see the headlines for some of the famous content creators out there that constantly fear porn and stuff like that. I can't wait. The end of the world is nigh, I'm quite sure. And of course, Elon Musk with his third party is going to mess everything up. I don't know. I know it's happened in the past. Ross Perot did that, but there's a lot of speculation right now that maybe this is a little different. Might be. We'll see. And I still think there's a lot of things that are coming that Musk, again, is just going to look like an idiot. His stock for Tesla is definitely taken some hits. He's lost a huge customer base. He pissed off the left, and now he's pissed off the right. I don't exactly know what's happening with Musk, but it wouldn't surprise me if at some point maybe they end up taking the shareholders of the board take over these companies from him because he's doing harm, kind of like Kanye, Like, obviously he's got a drug problem. Obviously he's got way too many kids. He's got a lot of things going on, right? Oh, well, too many. Who's my too many, right? I have 0. He has 13. So from my standpoint, he's got endless children. Like, wow, my God, you've got children just bubbling out. That said, hopefully we can get the geoengineering to stop. I'd like to see it, the easy stuff. Easy stuff's going to be the companies that have literally come out and said, hey, we'll geoengineer for you, right? And they're like, all right, that's geoengineering. They're releasing particles intentionally and stuff like that. Gotcha. I still contend, and I'm totally could be wrong, guys. I'm not like, I don't want to die on this hill, that's for sure. But I think they've added stuff to the fuel, regular fuel, jet fuel. And then air traffic controllers kind of set them into degree patterns. It's not hard to do. You stay on that heading after takeoff for an extra minute and then take heading such and such. When the pilot before you, I sent him on a different heading. So you're setting people into slight grid patterns. It's not hard to do from that standpoint. They may not know they're doing it. They might do it as a safety measure, so they're not flying through each other's jet wash, right? There's a lot of ways. Anyway, I think it's possible they've added stuff to the fuel. And if they're at the right altitude, it's going to chemtrail. I don't know. How do you stop that, right? I mean, again, I think there's this assumption because we've all seen the pictures of these planes that are just, got nozzles sticking out of the back of them. They're just dumping chemical, and the whole inside of the plane's got chemical. And I think those did exist and do, maybe even likely. This might be some of the things they spray either in front of or behind hurricanes, sometimes to try to make them worse or better. You can actually do both. So again, the fact that they're trying to make a law to stop it, freaking awesome. Love it. I can't wait to see how it plays out, This is another one of those interesting moments. Jeffries, I don't know if there's a video of him talking. Oh, it was painful. He says, protecting your health care is as American as a baseball, motherhood, and apple pie. And then he says something to the, he changed his heading, it looks like. Yeah, the initial thing was something to do with protecting. I wish I had it open still. I should have left the not the Instagram post and went with the original Telegram post. Yeah, I don't think there's any way I could find it. But Jeff, it was holding the bat, basically talking about protecting. It was another one of those moments where they were sort of enhancing the anger. And the baseball bat didn't seem appropriate. At least he's changed it to the point where he's trying to make it feel like it's okay. Yeah, this is just... Anyway, yeah, I don't like Instagram at all. By the way, it's just another one of those like TikTok as far as I'm concerned. NORAD intercepted a plane at Trump's Bedminster. They sent up fighters. Temporary flight restrictions. They're not allowed to fly over a whole bunch of areas. There's these numbers. You can look it up. If you're a pilot, you need to. If you're going anywhere near anything at all, you better make sure you don't fly over military bases. There's certain things you just can't fly over or you get in trouble. This dude, was flying way, way, way too close to Trump. Now, some could, and maybe so, assume that there's some damage that could be happening from this. I think some of it's just curiosity for the most part, and people that think they can get away with shit and don't realize how you can't. They probably got fined too. It wouldn't surprise me. Who knows? But yeah, they sent up fighters. They said they did some sort of weird approach. They executed a headbutt maneuver. I didn't even look that up, but that sounds weird. Two aircraft touching each other at all in the sky would be a problem. So I don't know what a headbutt is, unless it came like right at them, going head to head like they did in Top Gun. Maybe. Just to freak them out, because it would have been loud as hell and should have scared the crapola out of them. So that would be my guess what a headbutt is. And maybe if you're going fast enough to where you've got a shockwave that actually hits the plane, that's probably what it is. That's probably actually what it was. Maybe. When you guys military folks out there that, have my email, tell me. Let me know. Did I finally figure it out? Hopefully, if you already sent the one saying what it was, and then I finally got there, send a second email to say, I'm sorry, if I would have given you 2 more seconds. 5, 10, 100 seconds. Former Texas Democratic Party county chair has been indicted for ballot harvesting after a Paxton probe. KSAT reported that Juan Manuel Medina, former Bexar County Democratic Party chair and former San Antonio mayoral candidate, was among those indicted on 2 counts of ballot harvesting. People in the Democratic Party that were actually running. That's strange. A former county chair and 9 other party members have been indicted for alleged ballot harvesting. Again, they get their day in court. Ken Paxton going after these people. Juan Manuel Medina. We'll see what happens. He also, I guess, was running in San Antonio, my friends. Believe it. Believe it, folks. Healthy Home actually gave some of this stuff away, which is funny. I don't know, just a quick side story here that tripped me out, and this should tell you guys what I've been talking about with this product. And maybe it's just I've got so many of you guys stoked about it. But I brought like 5 Amazon gift cards, right? They're actually, I guess, worth a lot less than this stuff. I guess in the big picture, I didn't think about that from sure. But all said, but I had like Stem Active gel. I had a couple of the pills. I had some of the Prime, right? Dude, that stuff went first. They took that stuff first, and then they took the raffle cards, or the Amazon cards was left at the end. That was like the crap prizes, which I thought those were kind of cool, but a good point. These are expensive. I didn't think everybody would be that into it. They are, because this works, and they've heard about it. STEM Active's awesome. It raises your stem cell count. What you need to do first off, so you know what the hell I'm talking about, go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's what it does. It heals your body, your temple. STEM Active, your stem cells are what helps you heal. Anytime you need healing of any kind, like I feel like my voice is all stressed. I was yelling a lot, I think, during our stuff, so I need another day of relaxation. STEM Active. I didn't take the pills too. I forgot while I was gone. So I need to get that going. But it raises your stem count in your body naturally. Stem cells, right? Those are what become other parts of your body. They're like androgynous cells that can become a heart cell, become a muscle cell, become a skin cell, become a whatever cell, hair cell, follicles, whatever. So any healing that's going on, STEM Active is way helping you. I had a messed up shoulder and it was pain. And I was noticing it when I was working out. STEM Active made a huge difference in putting that pain away. Like I'd forgotten about it and I was like, whoa, why is the pain gone? STEM Active. Intentionally, I was not taking a maze at the time because I was curious. I was trying to play around with it. Balance, I'm going to hear about. Apparently they haven't started yet, so we're going to find out. But I'm going to get some feedback from at least one person I know that definitely wants this balance. Plant-based, it helps your hormones when you're going through that change. I want to say ladies. I've heard that guys can take it. I'm not touching that one, frankly. I think this is kind of generally more for ladies when we're going through that change in life where our bodies start to, I say our, like I'm part of this, right? But the body starts to transition into the post-baby body. I don't know, how to say this, but there's a bunch of plant-based materials. There's no actual hormones in it, which is good because that screws stuff up all on its own. But it actually helps your body deal with it from within. Like people are sleeping better, their relationships are happier, their temperatures changes aren't happening as much. Like it just really kind of seems to help them balance that process. So balance is exactly what it does. Amaze collagen supplement, one of the best. My girlfriend loves it. This police officer friend used it, and people were commenting on her skin, and I only gave her one box, and it was happening like that. It is collagen peptide, helps with joints, sagging skin, sore muscles, all that stuff. This is a wonderful product. In fact, the girlfriend started double dipping on it because, one, she was worried about her hair. Two, she's got this little thing above her eye, which actually looks significantly better. And every time I say anything to her, she instantly touches it. And I'm like, these things happen. They happen. Prime is fantastic, just energy. It's energy. It helps expand your blood vessels, more oxygen passes through. And then STEM Active for pets. Your pets. It's actually like half the price of what you pay for humans. This is the same thing. You got pets that need some healing action. They've got, hip dysplasia, some of those types of things. That actually helps. They've had a surgery, any of those kinds of things. You want to definitely make sure they've got extra stem cells in their bodies. It's the same thing, how that works inside of them. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices to keep that healthy life. CNN's apparently stunned as they keep playing all this bad information about, we're sending all these people home. We're a nation of immigrants. And then they've come to find out, holy crap, the majority of Americans actually favor what Trump's doing right now. We're the ones that seem to be pissing people off. I guess maybe I'll play this. What the hell?
Documented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken within the last month. And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deported all immigrants who are here illegally, 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters.
So if they say yes today-ish, how has that changed over time?
Yeah, this is where I think you get very interesting. And so we'll take a look at that ABC News question in particular because you can really see that there's been a massive shift from when Trump was first getting into office 8 years ago, right? Deport all undocumented immigrants. You go back to 2015, I'm going to come to your side of the screen, it was 42%. Hello. Go to 2016, it was 36%. Look at where we are now. This was taken at the end of last year, 56%. This is 20 points higher than it was just before Trump got into office the first time. So feelings towards immigration in this country, feelings towards undocumented immigrants and deporting all of them have become considerably more hawkish. And I think that gives Donald Trump much more leverage to go with the American people and sort of have these hawkish, some might say harsh, different rhetoric and also issue-based sort of going after immigrants who are here illegally. And so I think the American people are going to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt to do what he wants to do, at least if you believe these blunt questions, including this one.
How about immigration levels?
Yeah, okay. So this sort of goes in line with that, right? Which is, again, trying to get at the underlying feelings. Want immigration levels decreased. This includes legal and illegal immigration. Look at this. Last year, 55%. That is the highest level since the 9/11 aftermath. You go back just to 2020.
And this, again, legal and illegal. So people want less people coming into the country.
Exactly. They want less people coming into the country. Look at that. That's a 14-point rise from 2023. You go back to 2016 when Donald Trump again was running for president the first time. It was 38%. That's a 17-point rise. So the bottom line is more folks want people who are here illegally deported, and their overall feelings towards immigration have become considerably more hawkish since Donald Trump was first getting in office, Kate.
Wow, look at that, huh? And these are a lot of left-leaning polls. So that is, Trump's got a pretty strong stance going on right now. People seem to, well, agree. We got a paid protester. I guess, I don't know if Nate Friedman's just sharing this. I think this, yeah, I guess it is a Nate Friedman show. This guy is, well, he's figured out who a couple of these paid actors are, and here's just one example. There's more, we know.
Next up, I went to go see what the flyers were that they were passing out. When I went to just ask the guy a question, this gentleman wearing a shackled by the occupier shirt in Arabic came to stop my interview.
Okay. Hey man, can I ask you a question? Why are you stopping people from doing interviews?
Now this guy is another professional protester. Take a look at this. You see how he's the middle one here with the director of the People's Forum occupying Fox News? Now that's all normal behavior for these guys, but here's him getting arrested. Little less normal, but still par for the course. But what was he arrested for? Now, I found an article of him getting out of jail. You can clearly see it's him. It's the same tattoo, and the article says it's for the Colombia protest that took place. But yet there's no sign of him actually being a Colombia student. So when Eric Adams did say that there were outside agitators, maybe this is one of them. Now, it looks like he works with the PSL. You can see he doesn't like getting his picture taken. Now, the PSL's fiscal sponsor is the Progress Unity Fund, and we know from last episode that the sponsor of the Progress Unity Fund is the Tides Foundation. George Soros gave the Tides Foundation $40 million, so this is yet again another Soros soldier. There's also something very dark about PSL's past. The shooter responsible for killing the beautiful couple last month outside the Jewish Museum in DC had been affiliated with PSL's branch in Chicago back in 2017. Now, they lost contact with Elias for the years after, but it's important to note that after October 7th, PSL put out a statement that said resistance is justified when people are occupied, free Palestine. That's also what he chanted when he shot the beautiful couple, and that's clearly calling what Hamas did as justified. Now, they don't hide their love of terror either by just putting Hezbollah flags on their flyers.
Again, crazy that we are coming to this, right? This is coming to the general consensus, the general zeitgeist, if you will, general consciousness. We're waking up. We're realizing a lot of the problems that we have in this nation and why it's necessary to anybody. It's not just if you're here illegally. All right, I know a lot of people are like, screw it, get rid of everybody. Nah, you'd be amazed how things would actually probably get a little bit funky. There's a lot of jobs that are done by a lot of people. And so again, what it comes down to, and I'm not justifying anything, and what I am saying is for sure, we get rid of the people that are committing crimes, have committed crimes, not just coming here illegally. That's certainly a crime, and if you get found, it sucks. I'm sorry, but you're not here legally. You don't get a free pass. But if you've committed any misdemeanor or worse, in my opinion, see ya. You're not here legally. You already broke the law. Now you're committing additional crimes while you're here? No, you're out. Done. Sorry. You don't ever get to be an American. I know we're a nation built on immigration. That's fantastic. But it's not jam as many people in here as quickly as you possibly can, right? That's obviously not a working way. Look at what's happening to Europe. They're going bankrupt right now. They've got crime and everything else. This has been done intentionally by Soros and all these other people. Well, above Soros, his pay grade, but whatever. They're pumping as many people into this country as possible that don't give a shit about this country. That's not immigration. Immigration is people that come here to become citizens and learn about this country and assimilate and want to assimilate. Not just because we said to, they want to. They want to be Americans. Not a lot of the people that have been forced or coming by the millions, tens of millions, not a lot of them. Like this guy. Which, interestingly, this the Egyptian dude, Boulder, Colorado judge just ruled that Trump can deport this suspect's family and him. His whole family is going back to Egypt or wherever the hell they're from. Federal judge just ruled Wednesday that the family of Mahmoud Sabri Solomon, an Egyptian illegal alien accused of firebomb attack on peaceful pro-Israel demonstrators in Boulder, Colorado, can be deported. U.S. District Court Judge Orlando Garcia rejected the Solomon family's lawsuit to halt their removal, stating that the Trump administration followed proper legal procedures for deportation. End of story. Bye-bye. Boxer Julio Chavez Chavez Jr. Now, the first boxer, the one that was super good, and I think he won in 3 different weight classes, that's senior. He's still here. But his son's apparently been arrested and is facing expedited removal from the U.S. over allegations of cartel involvement in his home country. In fact, his home country is like, no, bring him back. We're going to try him. So famous people even are starting to get booted. Trump admin moves to build waterborne barrier in the Rio Grande swiftly. Now we finally got the big, beautiful bill passed. Here's some of the money that's going into this. We talked about this. This water barrier is 17 miles or something weird. 17 miles of waterway, right? Of course, 17, right? Why wouldn't it be Q miles? So it's 17 miles of like a big, giant, heavy, floaty thing, I guess, down the middle of the river. However that works. I mean, I'm sure it gets anchored here and there and whatever. Probably kind of goes down pretty deep, so you can't really go under it. And it's probably too big to move and probably can't really go over it either. So, I mean, it sounds like a pretty cool idea. I think Texas was doing this when Biden and they were fighting there, right? Kept doing the cantina wire too, and then the feds would go in and cut it. That was a mess. So it's fun to see us actually working together with some of our southern states. Some of them are dicks. Activists sue federal authorities over ICE raids in Los Angeles. It's more unions that are doing this, which I think is hilarious. The American Civil Liberties Union, they're suing. They're alleging that the immigration raids violate the 4th and 5th Amendment rights of thousands of people. They can't really bring a lawsuit for people that aren't necessarily union members. And if they've got a lot of union members that are illegal, then, hey, that's not good either. So I'd be curious if they're even allowed standing on this. Frankly, this is an immigration thing, and a labor union does not have standing over what the Supreme Court's already agreed to. So I don't see how this can possibly go anywhere. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch how it plays out, in my opinion. Trump's DOJ stresses zero tolerance after officer was shot near an ICE facility. Fortunately, it didn't sound like he lost his life, thank God. But this happened, I guess, Friday near Texas Prairie Land Detention Facility. Fort Worth Star-Telegram reported this, that law enforcement responded to reports of someone carrying a gun by the detention center, and an officer with the Alvarado Police Department was shot while trying to engage the suspect. Multiple people opened fire on the officer, who was treated for his injuries and released. What do we got? They were closely monitoring the attacks at the facility, and they are coordinating with other law enforcement. Todd Blanche said the Department of Justice has zero tolerance for assaults on federal officers or property and will bring the full weight of the law against those responsible. CBS News pointed out that several suspects are in custody, so they did bust a bunch of people. So we'll see how those things continue to play out. Good old anti-Trump ICE peaceful protests in Portland. Once again, I'm being facetious. Hopefully you know that. Once again, tear gas and everything else being used. These dudes kind of busted out of their facility kind of quickly. I'll play that much of it. It was kind of interesting to watch them kind of come out. So it does look like we at least got National Guard going on in there, which is cool. And cops there. I don't know exactly what they're doing. Of course, Todd Blanche is following this, making sure that this gets stopped. Homeland Security posted this. Under the leadership of POTUS, Trump and Secretary Noem, ICE Gov has been empowered to enforce the law and put the safety of America first. And this is Trump's truth that he's referencing. Said this July 4th weekend, I want to give a big thank you to the heroic ICE officers fighting every day to reclaim our sovereignty and freedom. One of the most exciting parts of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is that it includes all of the funding and resources that ICE needs to carry out the largest mass deportation operation in history. Our brave ICE officers who are under daily violent assault will finally have the tools and support that they need. We will not let America become a third world country filled with crime, failing schools, collapsing hospitals, and total social dysfunction. It's called remigration. Remigration. That is probably how it's supposed to be said. And it will definitely make America great again. I added the definitely part. CIA Director John Ratcliffe has declassified some internal tradecraft. I guess he gave some of the lessons learned in here, but long story short, he's acknowledging that there was a lot of politicization within the CIA back during the Russia stuff, but even obviously further on after that. But he's establishing the earlier components of the heavily political stuff. They said there was compressed timelines, uneven access to compartmented information, marginalization of the National Intelligence Council, and excessive involvement of agency heads. The review notes that adhering to established analytic processes and rigorous tradecraft is essential to ensure credibility, objectivity, and accuracy of CIA analysts. It got political, so he's got some info on that. That is interesting nonetheless. EPA placed 144 deep staters on leave for signing an anti-Trump letter. It was pretty funny. A bunch of EPA people, they tried that. Well, 400 former employees signed this thing. Well, 144 of them were actual. A bunch of them were fake or aliases or from other departments or retired already. But 144 of them were active Environmental Protection Agency employees. They signed a letter criticizing the Trump administration's reorganization of the agency and shift in its policies that have been placed on leave. All of them placed on leave. Sent to the EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin earlier this week, the letter accused the agency of sidelining environmental protections and undermining public trust. Among the complaints leveled was the EPA's abandonment of far-left progressive environmental justice initiatives. Speaking on the matter, Zeldin emphasized that the majority of EPA employees remain committed to implementing the Trump White House agenda, describing the letter as a product of a small minority. We have zero tolerance policy for agency bureaucrats unlawfully undermining, sabotaging, and undercutting the agenda of this administration as voted for by the great people of this country. These days are done. They are losing their ability to get their stupid message out in any sort of official way. That's how we're destroying them. That's how sleeping people work. Is if you get an opinion given to you by someone that claims to have credentials, that's it. That's all it takes. You believe them. For people that aren't asleep, we obviously know that's probably someone you can't believe anyway, just right off the bat. But it's not how it is for the people that are half asleep. So the new MAGA turf war over national intelligence. I don't know. They're kind of making a bigger deal about this. I think highlighting something and then trying to make it like it's a fight. I don't think that's the case. What is this? I would say the ODNI, Office of Director of National Intelligence. I thought it was the ONI probably. Whatever the case is. ONI, I think. ODNI. No, it is. Okay. Anywho, they want to shrink it down. And they're trying to create like there's going to be drama behind this. I honestly think Tulsi Gabbard will be a huge part of this restructuring. I think that's why she's happy to be there. If it makes sense to put her in charge of other places after, I'm sure that will happen. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that there is, from Trump's standpoint, concern about her being able to do her job. I think that's a story that's being pushed because it's divisive. It's easy for people to jump to that conclusion, even though it wouldn't make sense considering Trump has done a pretty good job about who he's chosen to keep around him. But he also keeps people in their place as long as he needs to, and not really longer. Sometimes that'll be the whole term. Sometimes it was just to be part of the restructure, and then maybe there's something better I can do with you, so I might pull you out of that position. We've seen that happen before too, where people have literally borderline gotten promotions once they got moved into different positions. So I think a lot of that is kind of being talked about. They're spinning it, but I think ultimately this is about, we've got 18 intelligence agencies, and this one was created after 9/11, and they're trying to thin it down. Trying to get, we don't need 18 different organizations. That seems ridiculous. If we can thin those down or stop a lot of the overlap, like again, the amount of money we probably waste is got to be just beyond word. Supreme Court's reviewing transgender sports bans. This is whether or not states can actually ban transgenders from athlete or scholastics. It's going to go into the Title IX stuff. So this is going to be very interesting to actually see. I'm guessing 6-3 is what I'm expecting to see happen. 6-3 easily going to say, yeah, they have the right to do that because first off, the federal government right now is saying they'll take your funding, but you as a state definitely have a right to stop. If you as a state want to continue to not respect women and have men perform in women's sports, then you're just going to lose federal funding, but you can continue to do what you want to do. It's not illegal. So this should be a very interesting case. I'm almost, like I said, assured it's going to be 6-3 Supreme Court. California homeschool families rally against a bill for increased oversight and funding cuts. It definitely looks like California's trying to get people back into their communist schools because there's so many schools that are separate. Like we have Montessori schools and we have these other charter schools and all this other type of stuff, and people even teaching at home, which seems to be the direct focus of this bill, to try to go after at-home teaching. So again, just interesting. Hopefully we can get this bill to stop. It is AB 84, seeks to increase oversight and accountability for charter schools, particularly non-classroom-based programs. Oversight means control, means you can't do that anymore, means we want to be able to oversee and then tell you you're wrong. When right now, you as a parent, if you want to send your kids to a school where they're not using classroom-based programs, you might think that's a good idea. I know I got a good friend that works at a Montessori school. She's one of the administrators. That's a form of teaching. Seems to be effective with certainly the right types of people. I don't think it's necessarily everybody. I think some people do well in a social environment. I think there's a benefit to the social environment. But sometimes we get that in other ways, you know. Take your kid to the dog park, right, and just let them run around with the dogs. They get social that way. I'm kind of kidding, sort of, a little bit. Trump sends tariff letters threatening to their 70% levies. The tariffs are coming. The tariffs are coming. The tariffs are coming. The tariff is near. Anyway, we have an issue where all these countries that thought they could just wait to make deals or thought that they could just flood us last minute with a bunch of deals. Yeah, Trump sent the letter out. I mean, the time's almost up anyway. July 9 is the deadline, so 3 days from right now. And sorry, we're already sending the letters out. Here's what's going to happen. You didn't get back to us in time. We're probably not going to get to it in time as far as you're concerned. So starting in 3 days, your tariffs go up to 70%. So they said they're going to range in value, I should say, maybe 60 or 70% tariffs to 10 to 20% tariffs. I guess president's trying to work out some little deal within this letter. Maybe there's some stuff they can agree to, whatever. And I would assume the letters are kind of specific. Oh, here's Trump talking about it. Let's at least do that.
Maybe the most important question. She gave a horrible answer to it. So they took an answer from another part of the interview and they inserted it. Nobody's ever seen that before. So I think they made a wise decision to settle.
And is that $16 million for the ads, is that part of contingency for your administration to approve the merger or the sale of the company?
No, it has nothing to do with that. This is totally separate. This was when I was running. This had nothing to do with what was taking place in government. This is when I was running. This was essentially the night before the election. And they did this, and we thought it was despicable, actually.
Is there on tariffs for countries that don't get a letter right away and that you haven't made a deal?
Well, we're going to start sending letters out to various countries starting tomorrow. We'll probably have 10 or 12 go out tomorrow. And over the next few days, I think by the 9th they'll be fully covered. And they'll range in value from maybe 60 or 70% tariffs to 10 and 20% tariffs. But they're going to be starting to go out sometime tomorrow. We've done the final form, and it's basically going to explain what the countries are going to be paying in tariffs. And it's very important. It's a lot of money for the country, but we're giving them a bargain. Because if I went by the true deficits or by other ways of measuring, it could be a lot more. I don't want to stretch it too much. We want to keep it pretty reasonable. And I think it's very reasonable.
What countries will you be sending those letters to first?
We're going to be sending to, well, you're going to see tomorrow. I'd rather get it tomorrow. But we have probably 10 to 12 tomorrow. And then after that, we'll be sending 10 or 12 a day. And as we get along, as we get to the smaller countries, we're pretty much going to keep the tariffs the same.
Are there any countries that will have a little flexibility with that deadline?
Not really. They'll start to pay on August 1st. The money will start to come into the United States on August 1st, okay, in pretty much all cases. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm glad I let him talk because he explained it really well. Yeah, so some countries obviously are going to have different tariffs depending on what's up, and they're going to try to probably divvy those out appropriately. Still early in the big picture as far as futures are concerned, but it looks like we're going to be starting off in the negative direction. Gold, silver are positive. Crude oil going down a little bit. Interesting. Now, what do we got for the currency stuff? It's all pretty flat. And then where's cryptos over here? Future crypto. Yeah, what cryptos for you crypto people? Bitcoin's up a lot, 108 right now, 108,000, I should say. Ethereum, 2,556, I guess. XRP is 225. Nice. I think I bought the little bit of XRP I got under that, way under that for that. I want to say 80 cents is what I bought it initially at. So there you go. Almost 4 times. Not bad. I haven't actually logged into it, though, to be honest. Anyway, we don't need to get into that, that's for sure. I don't have that much, so it's not that big a deal. And I don't want to give them a bunch of paperwork. All said, we've got, just want to remind you guys, drslikesgold.com. I think we've got major stuff going on with the whole system. The Fed can't stay there. I think that's probably the most solid fact that I'm leaning on. And so how that plays out, I don't know. What that does is it creates a lot of uncertainty. Stock market could be one thing, but maybe it's just restructuring the debt and what that's costing us. Again, there, I don't know what it's going to take to publicly have us lose faith in the Fed. And I feel like that kind of has to happen, or at least something significant enough that we can blame on them. Stock market seems like an easy way to go, but I mean, I don't know. It's not necessarily the Fed's fault, right? So I don't know. I don't know what happens. I don't like it. I know the dollar's going to get toastified on this. That's going to be a big part of what the Fed's failing on. Gold and silver is your way to store that wealth. You got a bunch of stuff that's based off dollars in the stock market. It's still based off dollars, right? So if the value of the dollar goes down and you've got stuff that's based off dollars, it's going to go, well, it's going to go down. That's how that works. Or it's not going to go up in any sort of way that is going to appreciate in your standpoint. What gold does is it holds value. So as the value of the dollar comes down, the price of gold goes up. So you can still essentially buy the same equivalent with it forever, kind of. That's basically how it works. So if the currency gets all jacked up, the price is going to go way up in gold. If you have to sell it, you sell it. If you can hang on to it, you hang on to it because it'll transfer into wherever else we go afterwards, right? So it's a great way to protect your wealth. Silver is undervalued, so it's a very good investment right now. Even if you just want to buy a little bit, you can certainly do that here. You can do it wherever you'd like. Get a hold of some silver if you can too. It's undervalued tremendously, and it's also it's more like money because it's smaller values, and so you can exchange it for goods and services. Gold's a store of wealth. It's too much value. In the 1 ounce, this thing's like $2,500 or $2,800, right? And just this one thing. This is 36. So it's a big difference in the value stored. They're both 1 ounce. That's a lot of value stored. It's hard to, use. Silver is very easy. So anyway, it's just something I believe in very strongly, and I think it's a great protection. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Let my good friends at Goldco help you. Certainly one of the best at it, best customer service out there. At least ask a bunch of questions and become an expert. Learn how to precious metals IRA could actually be a lifesaver for you. You can get out tax-free, penalty-free, by the way. If you cash it out, you take a penalty, unless you're, overage or whatever. But if you cash it out and take a penalty, and then you get taxed on top of it, you don't end up with much of the money. If you move it sideways, a whole lot more of it makes it to the final destination, in which you can do something later down the road. Not right now, but you can do it tax-free, penalty-free. You can get up to 10% free silver. That's pretty awesome, right? If you move over 100 grand, you're going to be up to 10% of that case. You're going to get 10 grand in free silver. That's how it works. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that crazy system, folks. It ain't worth sticking around, especially if you find out the bad news. Secretary Kennedy, you've heard this stat, but this is one of those stats we got to keep in the tips of our brains when we have discussions with people when they're like, autism's not that bad. Yeah, it is.
In 1970, scientists conducted the biggest epidemiological study in history of any country in the world. They looked at every child, 900,000 children in the state of Wisconsin, and they were specifically looking for autism. And they knew what autism looked like. And they did follow-up checks. It was an extraordinary study. They found 3 children. So it was the rate of autism at that point was 0.7 per 10,000. So less than 1 per 10,000. A month ago, we released the newest data, which show that 1 in every 31 American kids has autism. And it's actually probably a lot worse than that, because we gather that data state by state, and some states have better collection systems. The best collection system is California, and they're showing 1 in 19 kids has autism, 1 in 12.5 boys. This is unsustainable. And the cost of autism alone by 2030, according to a recent peer-reviewed study, is going to be $1 trillion a year.
This is what we can't afford. This is a lot of the fees and the unfounded liabilities, or whatever they call them, right? Unfunded liabilities. This is part of the budget that people haven't been looking at. The pharmaceutical companies have, by the way. But a government can't afford this. They were going to pay it anyway. They would have just printed money to do it. We said we would. That you can't do that. And then, again, it's the way we treat in the West. You've got a sickness. We just want to give you something to mask the sickness. You've got a gushing wound. I keep putting a Band-Aid on it. It keeps filling the Band-Aid up. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you another Band-Aid. And it's like, but the thing keeps getting all wet with blood. And you're like, yeah, let's put a new Band-Aid on it. But it's still bleeding. Yep. They don't want to fix the problem. They want to sell you a Band-Aid. That's how our system's done. Again, that's why I like Healthy Home. It's why I like the Root brand products. It's why I like some of the stuff that I promote, is because it's about healing you. It's about you taking health into your own hands rather than trusting the Band-Aid. If you take health into your own hands, you actually start working on being healthy, and you don't need the medicines the way you used to. Their medicine companies they just want you to get more pills, right? It seems to be, anyways. Wiggle room. Jaguar's sales plummet. Jaguar. Their sales plummet by 97.5%. I may not be able to tell, but I would bet those Brits are pissed, at least the ones that are involved in Jaguar. 97.5%. Why? Because they went woke. Came out with some new they-them rebrand. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, I don't want to buy a Jaguar or a Jaguar. I don't want to buy either of those. Thanks. You can have your plastic people. Sad part is this. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, first off, and she's Asian, I think, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the choice here. Can't believe I'm saying that out loud. Hurts a little bit. France's fiscal reckoning. The Eurozone's second giant, next in line. Yeah, Germany's crashing. France is crashing. These are the two biggest European Union funders. Well, they were anyways. Now their economies are toast because of the European Union, because of Ursula von der Leyen and all of her nonsense. The EU has to come down also, but I honestly, in my opinion, that might come after we get our shit totally straightened out here in the United States. But yeah, Europe's a mess. A mess. And I can't really, I'm worried about our battle right now. But yeah, for any Europeans listening, y'all need to figure out how you can legally say shit and help, because this is the kind of crap you guys are doing. What's this, Denmark? I think it is. Yeah, Denmark is now conscripting women. Now, let me give you this. If it was America, there would be hardly any women would actually be conscripted. Hardly any. And it'd be mostly probably them little skinny ones, the vegetarians that, have the little nose rings. It'd probably be them mostly. But they actually have to like come in when they turn 18, and then they assess them whether they could be in the military. So basically it means if you're a big fat fatty Denmarkian, well, you're never going to be conscripted, right? Maybe they test you mentally. Maybe they can put you in a chair someplace, one of like those, big and tall chairs, that doesn't crush under the weight. The extra gravity that happens anytime, that cookie is near you and just gets sucked into your hand. I know, it's gravity. It's all it is. It's gravity. The bigger the mass, the larger the gravity. At least that's the theory that they tell us. Just for the gentleman that's going to tell me that that's not true. Whatever. Easier conversation. Flimsy protection for NATO warplanes. So this is in England, by the way. Good job, Brits. So remember how we had that those eco-terrorists that literally got scooters, and they were riding scooters on the tarmac, and then they went and spray painted a bunch of British jets? Well, come to find out, the F-35s that they are purchasing or have purchased or are stationed there, whichever, they're not ours, I don't believe, are 5-foot fence. All you got to be able to do is hop a 5-foot fence, and you can take out their most prized possessions. Well done, Royal Air Force. You guys don't even try anymore, do you? Don't even try. Russia's winning the ammunition race over NATO, hands down. 3-1. 3 times as much ammunition in the 3 months as the bloc does in a year. So that's actually almost 4 times in my opinion, but whatever the case is. 3 to 4 times the ammunition being created by Russia just by themselves. This is one of the biggest problems we have. We've given away all of our weapons. I think Trump stopped it. I think Biden would have sent every bit of it out, so then China would definitely be able to do something about it. I think we're playing weak when we're a little bit stronger, and I do think we've got some other weaponry other than just anti-missile systems. In fact, that's very, 1980s. Like, come on, who does that? Energy is where it's at, people. So I'm sure we've got other stuff. I'm sure we've got stuff in space. They just aren't going to use it unless there's a good reason, right? You don't ever want anybody to know you have it. You don't want any engineers that are maybe from other countries to even have an idea that you have it. There's just certain things you don't talk about. But yes, from the standard standpoint of fighting a war, making missiles and bullets and shells and all that shit, they're kicking our ass. They must have a lot of copper, I assume. Brass, it's copper and tin, right? Anyway, I don't know. I think shells need to be something like that. They can reuse a lot of it, maybe. Russian drones and missiles rained down on Kiev. They hit them hard last night. Now, here's, again, I don't like the war. I don't like the fact the war is continuing. We know that Russia's intention was to denazify. Trump's playing like, I don't like this. We're probably going to sanction you. So I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen from this. Ultimately, Trump and Putin respect each other. I know that. What they got to do publicly is optics. That's not necessarily real. It is optics. It's for mostly not us. It's for everybody else. So this is, I think, Russia finishing off the job. They hit Kiev hard. And right now they really they're talking about even that Zelensky wants to talk to Putin only because it'll give him credibility. But Putin keeps saying, you shouldn't even be the president anymore. You've held up the election because of this war. You're illegitimate. I'm not talking to you. I want to talk to there's like the head of state or there's some individual that exists in government right now that is the next person when the president is no longer the president. And they need to have an election. And that's essentially what Putin's saying. Let's see let's have a good election too. Because I saw the breakdown recently, and this, country's split in half roughly on the pro-Russian versus anti-Russian, if you will. I don't think as many anti-Russians in Ukraine than they claim. It's kind of like I think they think all the Democrats are everywhere here, and it's like, no, like especially California, right? We're, I think, a lot more red than most people realize, even especially here. if we can get a fair election, these things will get resolved. So I think a lot's being done in Ukraine, much the same. U.S. is planning a massive Arctic fleet. We don't really have a lot of icebreaker type ships. Russia, hands down, has way more than anybody in the world. China probably doesn't even have that many yet. They're probably working on it, and I'm sure they can make ships, but the bigger ships are still tricky, by the way. Not as easy as a lot of the smaller ships. They can make small ships all day long. That's fantastic. Those would never make it through the Arctic. You need a pretty serious hull, reinforced. I think there's probably some other weird technologies they do, but yeah. U.S. is reassessing its relationship with Colombia as the crime and cocaine surge under the leftist regime. I'm sure they got a lot of back orders from Hunter. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, you guys said we shipped the coke to the White House. What, Trump's pissed about it now? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if something stupid like that happened, right? Like they sent a big old package from Colombia to Hunter, got lost in the mail, and Trump's like, is that literally like 4 kilos of coke? Not that he would necessarily know what 4 kilos of coke look like. Maybe he does. Who knows? We're apparently pissed at these guys. We're backing away. We pulled our State Department individual. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. I don't know if there's if there's a lot of Colombians that they're not taking back. Would be part of my suspicion. Because we'd have a lot of drug people here, part of certain gangs that are probably part. So I assume it's going to be in that general direction. Hamas, well, they supposedly submitted a positive response, they say, which is a weird way to state it. A positive response. Oh, what was the response? It was positive. Anything more? Nope. It was positive. We smiled. Yeah, so whatever the case is, kind of stupid. It wasn't really positive. What they basically said is we need a permanent ceasefire. 2, you got to give back Gaza. And it's like Israel's like, no, fine, that's not happening. Right, wrong, and different. Now, again, I don't know if this is, Israel trying, Trump was all about let's clean up Gaza and turn it into a not terrorist, but a tourist. Those words are oddly similar. Tourist attraction. Clean it up, get all the radioactivity out of it, or whatever the hell. Probably depleted uranium and shit. It's probably a mess. It's probably so bad. So they told Hamas, no, your ceasefire deal is shit. We will not do that. Again, is this taking out the last pockets of resistance? Quite possibly. Many are very sure that Israel is a problem, but I again would say it's the deep state is the problem. Israel itself has had a lot happen to it, and I think there's a lot of people that, again, lump far too many people into this group of evil beings. So how we play this out is not going to be like Israel is going to be attacked and not exist anymore. I don't think that's necessarily fair, even though the Belfort Accord and all that crap, like, it probably technically shouldn't be there. It pissed everybody off from moment one. I mean, that said, right? And giving back the Jews, like, if they lost their land for some reason, then, I mean, we don't give back other countries their land after they lose it, do we? Normally, no. Whoever has it at the moment, it's kind of who we, let have it. It's weird for us to be like, nope, you can't have it anymore. We're giving it to somebody else. That's called redistricting or redistribution, right? 21 states are now reporting COVID razor throat variant. Maybe this is what happened to me. That's my throat, right? I don't know. I'm fine. I got antivirals. I'd never worry about it. But at least 21 states are reporting it. Now, it's just funny. I'm only saying this because the states that are reporting it are all the places you would expect to report it. And in many cases, it's cities like Houston, for example, which I was just in. So, yeah, they're trying to spread the fear. Just keep these things in mind, folks. If you've got the antivirals, you're good to go. That's the contagion kit for sure. That is an antiviral. It's got ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. I'll open it up real quick. I always forget the third antiviral. It does a lot of stuff. This one, generic Tamiflu. That's antiviral. It's also got the Z-Pak, right? And the Pulmicort, generic Pulmicort. That is the one that's like asthma medication. It opens up your upper respiratory. They've got the nebulizer. You're getting 5 of those vials, too. This is a really awesome kit. And it will definitely protect you when it comes to the virus stuff. Now, the big stuff that's going right now, and I think it's got to be close. I have to check my other mail and see. But the ivermectin ivermectin, mebendazole. This is the parasite cleanse. You guys know I've been talking a lot about it. This is insane. I'm looking forward to trying it. It's a 90-day supply. It is a really good dose. It's done by a doctor. You've got to fill out stuff. This is completely legal. Completely legal. They will mail it to you. And this is the gold standard when it comes to parasites. We don't treat parasites in this country. Very rarely. They don't even bother. For a reason. This will make huge differences. There's many things that are being tied to parasites right now. And I think the frequencies of Wi-Fi, 5G, all that kind of stuff I think, excites some of these parasites in different ways. I think that's why we oftentimes see weird sicknesses when they do a new frequency of some kind and it hits us. And I think it excites certain parasites. And if you remove most or all of those parasites, then, well, gosh golly, nothing gets excited. Probably won't hurt. Go to the wellness company, twc.health/OTF. Probably should have opened that up earlier, but TWC, the wellness company, twc.health/OTF. It's your coupon code. It's going to save you some money. It's going to help the channel out, and they've got a lot of great stuff. Bestsellers, they got a longevity one that's in there. They've got a wellness for your mind. That's pretty cool. They've got immune support, the spike. If you guys are maybe took the vax, spike support, that was actually one thing that Tanya was talking about. She's the one that's supposed to try the balance. Not trying to call her out per se, but she was talking about how she said, you saved my life. And I was like, huh? How? And because she got the spike support and she saw that big a difference, and like literally is living and happy and stuff. So a lot going on. And they've got products, and they're not overly expensive. It's a very, very good supplement line that these guys carry. So definitely check them out. Whoops. It's going to be over here in the Ultimate Spike Support is an easy place to find it. They've got it by goal or the supplements themselves. So check it out. Go to twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. Hell yeah. All right, let's get down. Get down and boogie. Trump says U.S. is going to hold talks with China on possible TikTok deal next week. We'll see what that is. Musk unveils the America Party to challenge the one-party system that's bankrupting our country. You are definitely not going to help this. You're just going to fuck up the next election, Elon. Probably. I guess a little bit to talk about it. The thought process around what this does, how this works, who this takes from us. Again, if we get a legitimate vote, and it's an accurate vote, I don't necessarily think this is going to hurt the Republican Party like it always does, which is what everyone says. This actually could hurt the Democrat Party in many cases more than us. This has the factor to grab some of those people that are a little more of the left-leaning, little more of like who he was back in the day, and are super happy he finally came to the light. And I honestly wonder if there's some intention behind that. Like, I'm going to create a third party. I'm going to cater to the Democrats and some of the Republicans, but whatever. Those are probably rhinos anyway. And we'll cater to them, and we'll make it happen. And so I don't know if he's doing it intentionally or if this is just God working in mysterious ways, because I've seen it all go down. Sometimes people seem to know what they're doing, and sometimes people don't, but do what they're supposed to, nonetheless. Bankruptcy court this week approved the $305 million sale of genetics testing from firm 23andMe to a nonprofit organization led by the company's former CEO, Ann Wojcicki. That's the chick, sister of the one that owns YouTube, or is the CEO of YouTube or whatever. That's interesting. So the deep state still has their hands on this genetic material. And nobody can get pissed about it because it's the same person. So you can trust me. Oh, man. So, yeah, I'm sure if you got 23andMe ever done, your genetic material is definitely out there. That's not good at all. I'm going to close out with the final video. Great song. And I had such a wonderful time. We were at Two-A-Days out in Houston on Pearland Parkway. That's another one of those things I got corrected. But, when you give out bad information, it's probably good to get corrected. But Pearland Parkway, it was super awesome. Great venue. I actually like the food and stuff, too. They had some really good food. Their fried pickles were awesome. They had some fried mushrooms. It's delicious. I was too busy stressing to really be much of an eater. But I was doing good with the drinking. In fact, you can see here in this picture, that is my beer right there behind me. Thank you very much. That was the Dan beer. But again, I've got a great song for you. A whole bunch of pictures. And I want to thank all the people that really, there's just a number of people that came together and made this possible. I thanked all you guys profusely out there. But again, it was just, I couldn't have done it without the help of the people that were helping me. And I had such a wonderful time, and got to meet a bunch of you guys. Someone made me cookies, and those were really good cookies, by the way. I'm not totally done with them, but I'm not letting anyone else have them. I'll tell you that much. They're awesome. So thank you guys. Thank all of you that were there. It was an incredible experience. And we'll definitely do some stuff down the road. I don't, maybe 2-3 shows a week, or a year. Sorry, a week. A year. I might try to work up to. We'll see. Some of it's going to be coming up with the proper music show, which, by the way, I've got already chosen for this coming Friday, my next music show. I've got a great idea. It's going to be a 4 for Friday. I'll give you more details as we get closer to the event, but I've already pulled the music. I know what's going on in this time. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I love you guys. I want to share this with you. And for those of you that were there, you'll probably get a kick out of this. I got most of the pictures. Sorry, there's a couple of them I had to cut because they were bad format and it didn't work. So I was like, all right, I guess those got to go. All said, wonderful time. Thank you all. I love you guys, and I look forward to meeting you. That was one thing I definitely did, and I appreciated it. But I shook everyone's hand. I took pictures with all sorts of people. I had conversations. It was very, very fun. It was so awesome to get to meet you guys, and I hope to do it with more soon. All said, we're doing this together. That's why I always say, where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.
Climbing, twisting, turning further from my home. Young, like a new moon rising, fierce through the rain and lightning, wandering out into this great unknown. And I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free. I was born free. I was born free. Born free. Free like a river raging strong is the wind I'm facing, chasing dreams and racing Father Time. Deep like the grandest canyon, wild like an untamed stallion. If you can't see my heart, you must be blind. You can knock me down and watch me bleed, but you can't keep no chains on me. I was born free. I was born free. I was born free. Born free. And I'm not good at long goodbyes, but look down deep into my eyes. I was born free. Calm, facing danger, lost like an unknown stranger. Grateful for my time with no regrets. Close to my destination, tired, frail and aching, waiting patiently for the sun to set. from